So when you want to talk about the future, you probably just use the simple will tense, and that's totally fine. But what if you need to be a little more precise? Well, today we're going to go beyond the basics. We're going to master two really powerful future tenses that will make your English sound so much more sophisticated. Let's get right into it.
It's a pretty fundamental question, right? We all have plans, we all have predictions, and our first instinct is, naturally, to reach for the simplest way to talk about them.
Now, this sentence is grammatically perfect. No mistakes here. But it's also a little vague. It tells us what's going to happen, but it doesn't give us any context about when or how. We can add a lot more precision to that.
Yeah, what if you need to say what you'll be doing at a specific moment, or what you'll have already accomplished by a certain deadline? That's exactly where the simple future tense kind of falls short, and it's where these two more advanced tenses really come in handy.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the future continuous. This tense is all about actions that are going to be in progress at a specific point in the future. You know, they're still happening, still unfolding. The key idea here is that you're really zooming in on a very specific future moment. Imagine you're fast-forwarding a movie, and then you hit pause. The future continuous describes the action that's happening on screen at that exact moment. And the formula? It honestly couldn't be simpler. It's always will be, followed by your main verb with an ing ending. Nice and consistent, which is great.
So what's really interesting is just how versatile this tense is. It's not just for one thing, it actually has three main uses. Let's take a quick look at each one.
Oh, doesn't that just sound amazing? This is a perfect example of that first use. See, we're not just saying, we will lie on a beach. We're specifying that at the precise moment of this time next week, the action of lying on the beach will be actively happening. You can almost feel the sun, can't you?
Now for our second use, politeness. You know, asking, will you use the room, can sound a little bit demanding, almost like you need an answer right now. But phrasing it as will you be using feels softer, more like you're just checking in on their existing plans without imposing on them.
And here's the third use, for a planned, certain event. Saying I will be having a meeting communicates that this isn't just some possibility. No, this is a fixed event on my calendar. It will be in progress during that specific 1-hour window. All right, let's switch gears. We're moving from progress over to completion. And this brings us to the future perfect, a tense that is all about getting things done by a certain time.
Okay, here's the really crucial shift in perspective. With the future perfect, we imagine ourselves standing at some point in the future and looking back at an action that has already finished. The structure here is also super regular. It's just will have, and then you follow it with the past participle of the main verb. You know, words like finished, worked, left, or seen.
So this tense has two main jobs, and they're both centered around this idea of either completion or duration that leads up to a specific deadline in the future. So in this example, the deadline is 5 p.m. By using the future perfect, what you're saying is that when 5 p.m. arrives, that homework is done. It's 100% complete. Maybe you finished at 4:30, maybe you finished at 4:59, but the point is, by 5 o'clock, it's in the done pile. This tense is also great for talking about duration. Here, the future point, next month, is like a measuring post. When that moment comes, the 2-year milestone of working there will be complete.
Okay, now for the main event. This is where people can sometimes get a little tripped up, but I promise you, when you see them side by side, the difference becomes incredibly clear.
And this is it. This is the core distinction. The future continuous is all about the doing. The action is ongoing. The future perfect is all about it being done. The action is finished. Let's make this crystal clear with one final comparison.
If you say this, it means if someone calls you at exactly 8 p.m., you'll pick up the phone and say, "Hey, sorry, I'm right in the middle of a movie." The action of watching is in progress at that moment.
But if you say this, it's a completely different story. It means that by the time 8 p.m. rolls around, the movie is over. The credits have rolled. The action is complete. Now you're free to do something else. See that difference? It's all about progress versus completion.
Okay, so we've covered the forms, we've covered the uses, and the key differences. Let's wrap this all up with a super simple rule to help you remember which tense you should be using.
This is really your ultimate takeaway. When you're talking about the future, just ask yourself one question. Is my focus on the process or is it on the result? If it's the process, you're thinking, I will be doing. If it's the result, you're thinking, I will have done.
So, I'll leave you with a little challenge that puts this right into practice. Think about it. By the end of this week, what new skill or new piece of knowledge will you have learned? It's a great way to think about your goals, and hey, now you have the perfect grammar to talk about it. That's all for this explainer.